Gonna open this second box here. Again, this is number 2 of 6 out of the case that we bought. Alright. There's our box topper. See if we can't get some pools like we got last night. Got a few really good things. As always, anything that you see here that we have is available as soon as the video ends. So if you see something you want, just shoot me a message. Okay, so our first one is an Archpriest of Iona. Not a bad one to pull first. Also have a foil Inordinate Rage here. So nothing wrong with that. Actually, I'll move my trash thing so it's closer so I don't have a trash on my desk this time. All right. Barazol, the Split Current. That's a Simic. It's a serpent, enters with a +1/1 counter on it for each mana spent to kick it, or spent to cast it. Whenever you cast a kick spell, you may remove 2 counters from Barazol. If you do, copy that spell, and you can choose new targets for the copy. And if you're watching, please feel free to say hi in the chat. That way I know that there's people watching. All right. Zareth San the Trickster. This is that Merfolk Rogue. Black and blue. It's not a bad card. Honestly, I'm really hoping to pull an Omnath today. I've got 3 people that have requested Omnath if I do pull one. Alternate art Spitfire Lagak. Okay, another Barazol, the Split Current. Okay, what are the chances of another Spitfire Nagak? Passing it out. Ah, there we go. Now that's what we like to see. It's a full art Riverglide Pathway, which means that it flips and it's the lava. That's a great card to pull. And we got a foil Myriad Construct. And we were discussing the Myriad Construct last night after I got off the chat, and you know, for what it does, I think it's being underwhelmed currently on the boards. So a 4-drop colorless artifact, it's a 4/4, but it has a kicker of 3. When it was kicked, it enters with a 1/1 counter for each non-basic land your opponent controls. So specifically, if you're playing in Commander or in Brawl, if you kick this guy, it's going to be big because most of those decks are running a lot of non-basic lands. In addition to that, if it becomes the target of a spell, any spell, it gets sacrificed and it creates a number of 1/1 colorless construct artifact creatures equal to its power. So, depending on what you're doing, that can be a really, really game-changing card, because if they do target it, you have the ability to then have a ton of 1/1s out on the field. And we all know that an army of 1/1s can do a lot. All right, there's our first mythic with Forsaken Monument. The 5-drop artifact. Colorless creatures you control get 2/2. Whenever you tap a permanent for colorless, add an additional colorless. Whenever you cast a colorless spell, gain 2 life. This one is most definitely going to be going in a lot of artifact decks. Affinity with that guy, even with a 5-drop, is going to be amazing, because 5 colorless mana is really easy to get out by turn 2 or 3 in an artifact deck. And once you've got it out, as long as you can keep him out, he's really, really good. All right, Tabarak's Hope's Demise, Legendary Demon Cleric. Interesting. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, put a 1/1 counter on it. If that, you draw a card and you lose a life. But he has lifelink as long as he has 5 or more counters on him. So that could be an interesting one in a cleric deck. We've been seeing a lot more cleric decks that people are playtesting on Arena in the Brawl format right now. So we'll have to see where that goes. There's a lot of potential in those. That was interesting. We got a Dreadworm and a Skyclave Squid alternate art. Okay, Confounding Conundrum. That one is a landfall deck shutdown. If it's out on the field and they bring a second land into play, or their second land or beyond that, every time a land comes in, it puts another land that they've already got out back in their hand. So that one can really mess with landfall decks by forcing them back into their hand like that. All right, another Zarathan the Trickster, and a foil Expedition Healer, Core Cleric. Vigilance 2/2 for 2 with it has lifelink as long as you control another cleric. Very nice. All right, Inscription of Abundance. It's a good card. The different inscriptions I think a couple of them are being valued pretty low right now. I think potentially once people start throwing them in decks, they might see inscriptions go up a bit. We'll have to see what happens, of course. Okay. Another mythic with Shatter Skull Smashing. Of course, now that's the one that flips. If you put it out as a land and pay 3 life, it enters untapped. On the other hand, 2 and X, and it deals X damage divided as you choose among up to 2 target creatures. If X is 6 or more, it deals twice X damage. So that one can be a burn spell if you need it for aggro, or if you get it out early in the game, you can put it out as a land and help you ramp up, which is kind of nice. These new cards that do that are actually a lot of fun. I think they're interesting, that's for sure. All right, another Forsaken Monument. Okay. Null Priest of Oblivion. Oh, it's another cleric, vampire cleric. So 2/1 with Menace and Lifelink, kicker of 4. When it enters the battlefield, if you kick it, you can return a creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not your hand, the battlefield. That's a good one. I mean, it's expensive. I mean, it's 6, but oh, this is nice. Looks like we just got a Crag Crown Pathway foil, which of course means that it's a Timber Crown on the back. So that's a red-green. That's a good card right there to pull. Considering that the non-foil version that I pulled last night was already midstream, somebody asked for it. That person will probably want to switch it up and pull that foil, yeah, when they see it. All right, there was a second Luminarch Aspirant. Another mythic with the Legion Angel. Personally, I don't think that it should be mythic. It is 100% useless for Commander because when it enters, you can reveal a card you owned named Legion Angel from outside the game and put it into your hand. That means that it has absolutely no use out of any of the formats that don't use sideboards, i.e. Commander and Brawl, which are the ones that I play. Oh, here we go. Looks like we got a foil, and we just got a full art Bright Climb Pathway, which is Grim Climb Pathway. So there's your Orzhov in full art. Not a foil, but full art is still absolutely gorgeous. That is a really, really cool set of pictures. looks like we just got the Valakut Exploration alternate art, which is really cool. The red exploration. This one has landfall. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You may play it as long as it remains exiled. At the beginning of your end step, if there are cards exiled, put them into their owner's graveyard. Then it deals that much damage to each opponent. So that one could be a really, really fun one to fall decks. I could definitely see that being played in red and green, or in one of the new Omnath decks that are specifically designed around landfall. For that matter, I might give it a test later on Arena and see what it's like. All right, there's our Inscription of Ruin. That's the black inscription. Again, the inscriptions are valued a little low right now. Let's see if that changes. All right, Coral Helm Chronicler, Merfolk Wizard. Okay, a Myriad Construct, non-foil. Alternate art, Kazandu Nectar Pot. Cragplate Baloth. And it looks like a foil rare here with Swarm Shambler. It's a green, enters the battlefield with a 1/1 counter on it. Whenever a creature you control with a 1/1 counter on it becomes the target of a spell an opponent controls, create a 1/1 insect creature. This one also has a pay 1 colorless, tap, and put a 1/1 counter on Swarm Shambler. So that one's pretty cool. There we go. Here's one that was requested. Linbala, Shield of Seagate. Definitely one that I think we'll see being played in Control. All right. Roiling Vortex. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, it deals 1 damage to them. Whenever a player casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast that spell, Roiling Vortex deals 5 damage to them. For 1 red, opponents cannot gain life this turn. There's an alternate art, Akum Hellhound. Mythic. Agadeem's Awakening. And then we got a foil Tormenting Voice. Undo Inversion. 7 to destroy all non-land permanents. Non-land permanents, yeah. It's pretty good white. Alternately, you can put it out as a white mana provider. And a foil Brushfire Elemental. All right. I got another alternate art squid. Okay, so we got another Legion Angel. And we got a Skyclave Plunder in foil. It's another one that uses the party dynamic. I don't know why I just put it in the case. It's worth like 30 cents. Okay, so we got a Coral Helm Chronicler, Merfolk Wizard. Foil alternate art Prowling Felidar. It's a fun card. It's a Vigilance. When you put a land out, it gets a 1/1 counter. Okay, Glasspool Mimic. Okay, we got another Roiling Vortex. Okay, Tabarak Hope's Demise, and a foil Dreadworm. Another landfall card. Landfall gives it indestructible. Could be a really good thing. It's 5 for a 5/4. So in the right deck, being able to give it an indestructible can be a really helpful thing. Okay, Oron Reef Ooze. Okay, here we have the Clearwater Pathway. That's the blue-black one. Flip side, of course, is Murkwater Pathway. There we go. Here's our little, we pulled the Jojoba last night, but here's the alternate art for the Canyon Jojoba, little mouse dude. I absolutely love this card. I think he's probably one of the best ones in the set, in my opinion, just for pure flavor. Love the little mouse. Confounding Conundrum, another one of those. Okay, a Leyline Tyrant. Pulled one of those last night. So that's a second one of those that we've pulled. Still ugliest dragon I've ever seen. Continue with my statement on that. I'm not backing down. There's a Zandu Nectarpod again. Okay, and a Keza Royal Chaser. The wizard. All right, last pack. Okay, and Inscription of Abundance. Okay, here we go for this. This is our Expedition box topper. Last night was real disappointing on the first one, so I'm really hoping for a turnaround here. Let's see what we got. Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle. Okay. Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle enters the battlefield tapped. Whenever a mountain enters the battlefield under your control, if you control at least 5 other mountains, you may have Valakut, the Molten Pinnacle deal 3 damage to any target. So essentially, that's a lightning bolt on a land. Kind of a cool one. The picture is really nice on it. Not sure on its value, but hopefully it's more than the $14 for the one yesterday. That was pretty disappointing. All right. Okay, guys, so if anybody sees anything that they would like, hit me up. Facebook, Instagram, whatever. Just shoot me a message.